Hi, it's me again, Steve. This video is going to be a little bit different. It's not going to be a recipe, it's not really going to be a report on my progress in my Slimming World journey, as much as I'm going to talk about stickability. I'm going to talk about sticking with something, because I'm not the greatest person in the world for stickability in some ways. In other ways I am, and in other ways I'm really tenacious, but in some ways I'm not. And I thought I'd like to share that with you, because one of the things about any kind of journey is that there are going to be obstacles on the way. There are going to be ups and downs. There are going to be times when it's easy, and there are going to be times when it's hard. When it's easy, we don't need to worry about that, do we? Because we're encouraged. We keep going because it's great. We're getting a buzz from the success. But those aren't the times that matter. The times that matter are the times when we are feeling low. The times when it's not going according to plan. And those are the times when we are in danger of giving up. And I know that because I have been a serial giver-upper of many things in my life. When I was a young man, like many other people, I used to smoke. Now I look back on it and I think, oh my God, how could I have done that? It's repulsive. But then, no, I had no idea that I stank all the time. I had no idea of how fatigued it was making me feel. I had no idea about any of that. Hello, we've got a visitor. Hello, this is Suki. Can you see her? Where is she? Hello, Suki. Oh, she's going. She doesn't want to be on camera. She wants to be let out. That's what she wants. Go on. Okay, beware. The door is now open. We might get a little bit of noise coming in because we're not that far from a mainline railway line. But hey, this is reality. This isn't some kind of television programme, is it? Where was I? Yes, I was talking about when I used to smoke. And I had no idea it was revolting. Part of me inside knew that it was bad for me. Part of me knew that if I kept doing it, it would probably kill me. But like many other smokers, I kept going. Having said that, I stopped smoking for 18 months, I think it was. And then things got difficult in life. First thing I did was go and buy a packet of fags, started again. Then, again, I stopped. And I stopped for 2 years. Same thing happened. Life got a bit more difficult. I ran to the fags. This happened repeatedly. I was a serial giving up smoking person, whatever you want to call somebody like that. Until one day, and the curious thing is, it echoes my father almost exactly. Because when I was 5 years old, my father, who had been a really heavy smoker for 20 odd years or more, turned round and said, I want to see him grow up. I'm stopping. And he threw the cigarettes away and he never had another one, and he stopped. Back at the end of 1992, Christmas 1992, my daughter was then 5 years old. I was, how old would I have been in 1992? I was in my, hold on, I always have to do this. I was 35, right, and see, I told you about the train. There it is. Can you hear it? Oh, never mind. I was 35 years old, and it was Christmas, and I got the flu. I got one of those horrible flus where everything tastes horrible and you feel grotty. Did I give up smoking? Did I stop smoking? Did I bugger it? No, what I did was, instead of going out and buying Marlboro, which is what I used to smoke all the time, I went out and bought a packet of silk cot. And if you've smoked, you know that silk cot are like sucking on fresh air. They've got these little holes around the tip, around the filter tip, to allow air in as well. And the whole thing is a strange experience for somebody who smokes Marlboro all the time. Anyway, I digress. What I did was I got silk cot instead of Marlboro, and I found myself sitting on the sofa with my fingers over the filter, over the holes in the filter, sucking as hard as I could to get something out of the cigarette, while I was feeling awful and disgusting, and it was only making me feel worse. And I just had one of those moments. What they call it, a Damascus moment, don't they? It's like St. Paul on the road to Damascus. All of a sudden, I saw myself sitting there, and I thought to myself, how absolutely bloody stupid do you look? How ridiculous do you look sitting there? You look and feel like death, and you're sucking on that thing. Why? My daughter was 5 years old, just like I was when my dad gave up smoking, and I had the same thought. I don't want to die before I see her grow up. I don't want to, shorten my life anymore. So I stopped. I threw the packet of silk cut away. I never bought another packet of cigarettes. And I just knew that I'd stopped because the time was right. And I didn't have to try that hard, I just kept at it. I just kept moving on. One of the problems of that was, though, in stopping smoking, like many other people, I started to put on weight. That's where it links into the Slimming World thing that I'm talking about at the moment, and the journey that I'm on at the moment. Because I got bigger and bigger and bigger over the years. And then I got so big that, about 15, maybe more years ago, it was 2002, I remember now. We went to SeaWorld, Sea Life Centre, that was it, one of these places where they have all the aquatic animals and all that sort of thing. And they had this set of scales there. Get on the scales and see what sea creature you weigh the same as. I got on the scales, and it came up, you weigh 19 stone something, I can't remember exactly what the number was. You are the same weight as a great white shark. Well, that was a bit of a shock. And I started to look at myself and I thought, I've got to lose some weight. So I started dieting, and I dieted, and I kept going, and I got down to around about, if I remember correctly, I got down to just under 15 stone, which I was happy with. And when I went to university as a mature student, that year, I looked quite good. I was really pleased with the way I looked. I've got a photograph of me somewhere on my first day at university. And I kept going. I gave it some on the old exercise machines in the gym at university, and everything was going fine. And then for some reason I just gave up. And as soon as I gave up, the weight just piled back on faster, so much faster that I'd lost it. And within a couple of months I was huge again. What did I do? Did I look and say, oh, no, I've got to keep this off, I can't go back? No, I gave up. I gave up and I couldn't face the whole dieting thing anymore, and I went back to one of my first loves in life, and that's cake and chocolate and pancakes and anything slathered in syrup, or because, you know, that's what I like. And eventually, a few years later, as life changed, life had moved on, ups and downs, tried dieting a couple more times, but not much success. And I went to the doctor, and just as my father had done many years before, because after he stopped smoking, he did exactly the same thing, he put on weight. I was diagnosed with diabetes. I'd always known that was going to happen. I'd always looked at what had happened to my father and said, I'm going to become diabetic if I carry on like this. And I knew. Did it stop me eating? Did it stop me going and buying a packet of biscuits and eating a lot of them in one go? Did it stop me buying a packet of, granola squares and eating all 4 of them before I finished the drive home from dropping the kids off at school? No, it didn't. But I was diagnosed with diabetes, and that gave me a bit of a shock. And I decided, right, I'm going to walk more, I'm going to exercise, I'm going to diet. Worked for a little while. Something happened in life, can't even remember what it was. First thing I did was run to the biscuits, run to the cake. Just like you probably, or many other people. Jane, my wife, kept saying to me over the past couple of years, 2 or 3 years, we ought to join Slimming World. No, not for me. I couldn't think of that. I'm not into all that counting. I can't count. I can lose weight, I can slim, I can lose weight, I've done it before. But I can't count, and I don't need a group. I don't want to go to Fat Fighters, Little Britain. That's my image of it. That's all I knew of it was Little Britain and Fat Fighters. So I resisted, but we did try the Slimming World way. Jane went to Slimming World. She got the books because she got all that sort of thing, and we did adopt the diet. I just didn't go to group, I didn't go to weigh in, I didn't do anything like that. And we lost some weight. And I stuck with it for a while. And then I stopped. And then I got bigger and bigger. There she goes again. Until recently. I went to the doctors 2.5 months ago. And it was for my regular diabetic checkup. I've mentioned this in another video, but let's mention it again. And when you go for your diabetic checkup, they do this sort of very, I don't know, things seem like magic to me. They take your bloods, they send them off for analysis, and there's one of the tests that they do that can tell them what your blood sugar levels have been like for the previous 3 months. How they do it, I don't know, but it tells tales on you. I was diagnosed with diabetes probably about 7 or 8 years ago, something like that. I think I've been diabetic for a long time before that, but not known it. But when I was diagnosed, they give you a number to tell you what your blood sugar level is at. And that number when I was diagnosed was 68. and that put me well into diabetic territory. Over the years, by looking after what I ate and doing a bit of exercise and all the rest of it, a year or so ago I got it down to 43, which is almost not diabetic. I was really pleased. It's been a weird year, this last year, and I struggle a bit with certain different things, and I went, as I said, about 2.5 weeks ago to the doctors, and he told me the number that I was on from my glucose test. 67. I was one off where I was when I was diagnosed with diabetes all those years ago. I got on the scales, 18 stone 5. I think I decided at that point something had got to happen. Something had got to happen that would change things for good. Now I'm only 2.5 months down the road, so you're going to have to follow me for a little while to see whether I can stick at it. But at the moment it feels different. It feels different than it's ever done before. And you know what I think the key is? For one thing, it feels like the right time, and that always makes a difference. But for another thing, I think you've got to decide at some point, just like I did when I decided I was giving up smoking, that that's it. Enough is enough. I don't want to be fat, overweight. Train. And hammering nails on my own coffin anymore. So, 8 weeks ago this week, no, 9 weeks ago this week, because this will be the end of my 8th week, I finally relented and we went to Slimming World, Jane and I together, deciding that we are going to change our life and we're going to lose weight. In the last, was it 2.5 months since I went to see the doctor, I'd managed to lose over 2.5 stone. So I'm delighted. I'm really pleased. And nothing encourages me like success. I suppose it's the same for everybody. But one of the things that you need to learn is you need to learn about yourself. Because until you learn about yourself, here's another one coming in a different direction there. I won't stop this time, I'll just keep talking. Until you learn about yourself and what your failings are as much as anything, then you can't do anything about them, can you? One of my problems is that I don't take failure, as I see it, well. Rather, if I feel myself failing at something, if I get a setback, rather than power on through like a lot of people do, a lot of people who succeed do, I'll quit. But I won't admit to quitting. I'll say I'm doing something else, and I do something else instead. Something that I feel I can succeed at. I move on before I can fail. That is a problem. It's a problem in lots of things in life. It's been a problem in many elements of my life. But I'm aware of it. And this time, with the slimming, I'm sticking at it. Definitely sticking at it. This last week or two, I've had a problem. I've talked about it in other videos, but here we go again. I'll talk about it again. I went to where was it? We went to Trenton Gardens, that was it, a couple of weeks ago, and we went for a day out, and I'm walking along. I felt so sprightly. I'd lost all that weight, and I was walking faster. I turned around, everybody was behind me, they'd all gone. They hadn't even come around the corner. I said, oh my goodness, I'm walking much faster than I've walked for years. I'm always the one that's going, I can't keep up, slow down, I can't keep up. I was feeling really proud of myself. Next day, my back went. I've had a recurring bulging disc problem for 16 years. 16 years, yeah. On and off. It's not there all the time, thank goodness. But when it goes, oh my goodness, it's so painful. And I could hardly move. Last week I was going around on a stick all the time. Very gingerly because it kept spasming and I would go, and it was horrible. Oh God. So for 2 weeks, until this, let me show you this to be a bit honest. Look at this. I have got on here, can you see it? I think you can just see it. I've got on one of these, it's like a corset thing. I ordered it off Amazon a few days ago and put it on. Oh my goodness, it's made such a difference. I can actually keep moving and I can actually be mobile. The back's not totally better yet, I can feel that. It's still sort of ginger, still aches, but the belt is stopping it spasming. And it's brilliant. It's really good. And I'm a little bit more mobile again. But the result of being immobile for a couple of weeks has meant that where I was losing loads and loads of weight, 2 weeks ago I went to weigh in and I'd lost 8 pounds in 1 week. Last week I lost a pound. This week, I don't know. I've hit a bit of a brick wall and I'm sure it's because of being immobile. And I felt myself thinking to myself, I hope I can keep going. What am I going to do? I've got to get that success again. I've got to get back on that winning wagon. It's part of my character. If I don't get applause, I don't want to perform. I need to feel as if I'm succeeding. But knowing that is part of my character, is helping me through. Because I'm not going to give up this time. This time is like when I gave up smoking for the last time back in 1992. This time I'm not giving up because I like what's happening to me. I like being slimmer. I like feeling better. And I like everything about it. I miss the cakes. Yeah, I'll always miss the cakes. It's like being an alcoholic or anything, I suppose. You've got to decide that you don't want that anymore and you want a different life. But occasionally, once in a blue moon, maybe I'll have a cake. But not at the moment. Not at the moment. At the moment, I'm sticking. And I think that's what I wanted to share with you. I wanted to share with you a little bit of my journey, a little bit of my failings, I suppose. But also a little bit of the fact that if you want to succeed in anything, you've got to be one of these people that keeps going. And if you're not, if you're like me, if you hit a brick wall and you are put off by it, learn about yourself. Learn that that's what you do. In fact, I think the whole key to this losing weight thing, or anything I suppose that you do really, is got to be learning about yourself. What is it? If you're slimming supposedly, and if you're doing everything on the Slimming World Plan, then what makes you different from all those people that you see online or you see in the magazine or whatever, who were like 30 stone and are now 12 stone because they've stuck at it? What makes you different from them? You're a human being. your metabolism is a human being's metabolism. Unless you've got a real difficult medical problem that means that you can't lose weight, and I suppose there must be one or two people out there like that, a few people out there. But unless you have that problem, you are going to find surely that the problem is in here. The problem is in here. It's you. And you've got to find what it is that stops you succeeding and work on that. See yourself. And if, ask your best friend, ask your partner, ask your family, what do you think it is about me that holds me back, that stops me succeeding? And then when they tell you, when they give you the honest truth, don't get angry with them. Listen to them. Take it on board. You know, are you eating portions that are too big? Are you picking at things that you don't need to? Are you doing as I was? You know, the slightest downtime, oh, go and buy a packet of biscuits, go and, what the hell, I'm feeling, what the hell, doesn't matter if I get fat, doesn't matter if I get ill, I don't care. You know, that feeling inside when things aren't going well. Stick with it. I intend to stick with it. And I'm sharing this journey with you so that you can follow me. And if I start to slip, if I start to go backwards, I'll tell you. I'll be totally honest with you. And if I do, put it in the comments down here. Tell me off. Tell me what I'm doing wrong. You know, challenge me. I challenge you to challenge me. And I'll do my best for myself and for my family and for you, because I want to show you that if I can do it, you can do it. You know, I'm 61 years old. I have got 61 years worth of bad habits that I'm having to fight against to do this. And if I can do it, you can do it. And that's what it's all about. So this has turned into a long video, and if you've stuck with me to the end, I'll be very surprised. There's probably only like one person out there watching it now, and that's probably me. Anyway, if you have stuck with me, thank you for sticking with me. Please, please, please subscribe to the channel. And once you press the subscribe button, hit the little bell, and you'll get notified every time I put on a new video, which I'm doing every day or two at the moment. I'm putting on recipes, I'm putting on little chats like this, little blogs, all sorts of things. Just, you know, please, if you subscribe, it will make the world of difference to me, because I'll see that there are people actually taking notice of, and I'm not just sitting talking to myself, rambling on here. And as I say, if you've stuck with me to the end of this marathon little chat, then thank you very, very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.